dun 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 dun. That isn't it at all.
I don't know. I got the first part.
How's it like?
I'm not good at a cappella.
Why are you even here? This is an a cappella podcast, bro.
An aka podcast, if you would.
An aka cast.
Aka cast. Yes.
Or a podpella.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the PCMR podcast, where we talk about movies, TV shows, video games, and comic books and other things that definitely do not matter at all, because nothing matters and we're all going to die one day.
Yeah.
I am your host, Aiden Mungai, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Bright Page.
Hello, how are you?
And today we are talking about the latest attempt by DC to prove... No, we can make a good movie, honest. Just hold on.
We're getting there.
We'll get this right. Fourth time's the charm.
Fourth time's the charm. Yeah, that's how the old saying goes.
We're talking about Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Wonder Woman.
The woman with all
Directed
her
by
wonders.
Patty Jenkins, starring Gal Gadot. There's a lot riding on this movie.
Is it Gadot or is it Godot?
I think it's Gadot.
I've always thought it was Godot.
I'm pretty sure it's Gadot.
I thought the T was silent.
No. It tricks you into thinking that, but it's an Israeli name. So
She's Israeli, is she?
Yeah, she's Israeli.
I thought she was like European.
No. She's from Israel. She spent time in like the Israel military and stuff, and then she became a model and then an actress. Well, I won't, but she probably could.
I don't think she'd agree to that.
No. I don't think that's a preferred method
of murder.
No, I don't think she's a fan of murder. She seems a lot more into the arts, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mm.
This joke's going on too long.
Probably. But as I was saying, there's a lot riding on this Wonder Woman movie because DC need a critical hit. Like they've had,
They've had financial.
They've had financial success, not quite what they wanted to have. Like,
no.
I don't think Batman v Superman crossed that $1 billion mark,
which is what they wanted.
I mean, it's a Batman and Superman movie.
It
should have. It should have crossed that $1 billion mark. Man of Steel was okay, but not great.
Well,
Suicide
the thing
Squad.
with Batman v Superman is it made most of its money in the first weekend, which is where everyone was like still excited for Batman fighting Superman.
Yeah, before word got round.
Yeah, then word got out there. Like I think it was like the biggest second weekend drop in box office history.
And I guess Suicide Squad is now Oscar-winning Suicide Squad, which still sounds terrible to say.
It
sounds
does
awful.
not feel good off the tongue.
It doesn't. But they've yet to have like that one movie that everyone can kind of agree, yeah, this is good. They've had a few like diehard fans like...
Oh yeah, the
out
diehard
there.
fans never give up.
No, the diehard fans never give up.
One of our reviews on iTunes we were called Marvel fanboys.
And we were indeed. But they need this. They need... And not only DC... Women in superhero films need this. There has not been one good female-led superhero film. Because what we got, Supergirl in the 70s.
About to say, have Marvel? No, Captain Marvel will be their first female.
Captain Marvel will be there first, and that doesn't come out till 2019.
Does Ant-Man and the Wasp count?
That counts as the first, like, she's in the title.
Yeah.
They've never had like a female superhero in the title.
Yeah.
So that'll be there first. And then Captain Marvel. So, yeah, Supergirl has not been good. Elektra was no good. Catwoman, no good.
No good.
Barbarella or Stripperella, whatever that movie with Pamela Anderson.
Wait, really? That's a thing?
There's a lot of things out there, Brett.
There's anything I know for certain about this world. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, that one was basically Casablanca, but with tits. And it's not very good. It's like if you're going to rip off a good movie...
At least rip it off well.
Yeah, and they did not. So there hasn't been one. So it's not only has Wonder Woman got to save DC and all their films, she's got to save female superheroes.
Yeah,
that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure on one Israeli woman.
Yeah. So the question is the film good enough to live up to all those expectations?
Are we answering it here and now?
Let's discuss the film. Let's discuss the film. Let's try and figure it out.
No question.
This isn't a yes or no question. We got to figure it out. We got to present the facts for and against. We'll try and figure it out.
Yes. So, okay, if you haven't seen the film, here's a little quick synopsis. We're in Themyscira. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Themyscira, yeah.
Yes. And all the Amazons and Diana's a little child, and she's like, I want to fight. Her mum's like, no, you don't want to fight. But I want to
Can I
fight.
just say, I really like the little girl they got to play
That
a
was
young
really
Diana.
good. I feel like, because...
She had chutzpah.
and also...
A lot of chutzpah, that kid. She's going places, I
What
tell
are you,
you.
a 1920s gangster?
No, I'm a 1940s film producer. I don't know.
Okay, so what I actually liked is because they had kid Diana and teenage Diana, then adult. All of the actors looked similar. Like, I could look at that little girl and I could imagine her growing up into Gal Gadot.
I thought it was a little funny that just because, like, Gal Gadot, like, she can't do, like, another kind of accent. She can only really do the one accent she has.
Yeah.
So everyone else has to be like, well, we all got to do her voice then. I can just imagine there, like, being a production meeting where they're like, say something else, Gal. It's like, I am a Princess Diana. So they're all going like, I am a Princess Yep, I got it. Got it. Just sound a bit fucked. All right, cool.
Yeah, that is one thing I was, even throughout the trailers, thinking her accent's kind of fucked.
So it's, we go through, like, the whole story of Diana from child, growing up on Themyscira. We'll learn a little bit about her origin story, the Amazon's origin story.
Which basically they were created by Zeus to protect the rest of the world because Ares corrupted the minds of man, so they were fighting.
Yeah, so
in short.
Yeah, so she's growing up, and then eventually the outside world, because it's a magic island. Because of course.
Oh yeah, it's a magic island.
It's a magic island.
So
Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, the only Chris that Marvel couldn't get. They got all the other ones.
Yeah.
They missed
let
one.
this one slip away.
Yeah. They were like counting them off. It's like, oh, we got Hemsworth, got Evans, got Pratt. Shit, are we missing one? And then DC's like, got him. Pine. Ha.
But at the same time, this is a spoiler what I was about to say.
So he crashes into the sea. Diana saves him. And she realizes, there's a World War I going on, the Great War.
They didn't call it World War I at that point.
No. They're just like a World War.
Everyone's called World War I. Someone's like, hey guys, why are we calling it World War I?
Well, I'm very pessimistic. That's why. There's going to be repercussions from this, and I'm imagining it's another World War.
Yes, we're just counting. We're guessing here. We're just assuming there'll be another.
Who invited bloody Debbie Downer over there? Like, come on, guy. We just got through one. Why you got to say there's going to be another one? I don't know. Watch out for that Hitler. He's a bad egg.
This Hitler fella got some pretty extreme views.
But no, so World War I is happening, and Diana being like I must help everyone that she is. She goes out there and she's off to save the world, and that's basically the plot of the movie.
Yeah, it's basically the movie.
That's the premise of the movie. It's not the plot.
Oh yeah, not the plot. It's the premise. So yeah.
So off the bat, I think
premise.
let's talk about some good things. Starting off, Themyscira, I liked it. I liked it as a place,
and it looked very Greek.
It looked nice. It was a little colorless, which is okay. It's kind of the aesthetic that DC.
That's kind of the aesthetic DC go for.
Yeah, you can't be doing exactly what Marvel doing, where it's very kind of hypercolor, very colorful, because you got to distinguish yourself, which is fine. I understand that DC have to do that. That's fine. It was colorful enough. There was.
Yeah.
I liked all the Amazons that they got. I liked it. It was kind of very diverse. I thought it was actually a very diverse movie overall.
Yeah.
Actually, there's lots of little scenes, a lot of just like extras or just people put in the background that they didn't have to do. Not all these movies have to do that, but I liked, that we're seeing a diverse variety of human beings in the film, which is good.
Well, it's World War I. There's a lot of people fighting in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people everywhere. So I think overall, I'd say I'd like the cast of this movie. I think Gal Gadot, she's betrayed a little by the trailers. In short spurts, it can seem like she's a little wooden, but I think overall she carries the film pretty well.
Overall, I think her acting was fine. Like, she was better in this than she was in her 2 scenes in BVS.
Yeah, well, she didn't have a lot to do in that film besides say like, walk around in a nice dress and look mysterious, which was basically just her modeling. It wasn't really her acting.
Yeah, no.
Well, here she got to actually do some acting, and you could say, oh, okay, she's
fine.
She's fine. I liked her performance. It had a lot of she was very strong, but also kind of still young, very kind of
She was
optimistic.
very naive.
Yeah,
as
it was a
well.
naivete to her, which worked, I think, in the film's favor. Like,
Yeah, because that
Mm.
it did one thing that until now DC hasn't really tried to do at all. It
Mm.
injected a bit of humor. Oh, I guess they did that in Suicide Squad. Yeah, it injected a bit of humor
Mm.
that just worked well.
But it wasn't like edgy, try-hard humor like Suicide Squad. It was it was
kind of-
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It wasn't
Mm.
forced. It was.
It felt very kind of natural
yeah,
to the
it felt
dialogue.
natural and
Yeah.
real to the dialogue. Because her character was very much, she grew up on feminist
Mm.
heroes. She doesn't know much about the rest of the world.
Mm. I
So
liked.
the butt of the joke was often, haha, she doesn't know this thing that's common. Which seems like
And it wasn't that she didn't know everything. She knew a couple of things.
like the pleasures of the flesh.
She's read a couple of books.
She's read some books.
She's very smart. She's very she's known as much as you can know growing up on an island with a lot of like ancient history knowledge, but she doesn't know exactly like where the world is at and how like people interact with each other these days.
Yeah, how humans, are. by
Because they
nature.
they do kind of say like Amazons, they're different. They're not quite human. They're another thing.
Yeah. Well,
Kind of like an Asgard kind of Earth kind of thing. A little bit of that. So I liked the way this film was kind of structured. It was a very kind of self-contained film. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it was a good origin story.
Yeah.
I feel because a lot of these films
Well, I feel
haven't been quite great in telling an origin story.
Yeah, well, I feel like as far as an origin story goes, it actually gets into the action earlier than some. Like if you compare it to Doctor Strange,
Doctor Strange does take a while.
it takes a while,
Mm.
but within like the first less than half an hour, you get in a fight sequence.
Mm.
So I'm like, that's what we need in this origin story. That they could have made it in a way that it dragged on a bit like Doctor Strange, but they didn't, and they caught our attention.
Mm. And it's also, I think it's a nice way to kind of separate itself from the rest of the DC universe. It has a few like hints and like nods here and there, which are fine. But like for the most part, it's very much kind of a self-contained movie. Like you don't need to know a lot about what's going on. Like you don't need to have seen Suicide Squad to get this movie. You don't need to have seen Man of Steel, maybe Batman v Superman, but not really.
Only for like the very start and the
There's
very end.
a start where like the kind of
Present
wrap
day.
around for this movie is that it's Wonder Woman kind of reflecting on her origin. It's not just like going straight into it. It's like her.
Yeah, it's not bullshitting around with timelines. It seamlessly told the story. It's her reflecting.
Yeah, there was a worry like going into it that maybe it would do a kind of a flashback here, present day thing here, but the present day stuff is really just a wraparound.
Yeah, it's the very first scene and the very end scene.
Yeah, that's all, which is good. I like that it was very kind of linear.
Yeah, and
for the most part. Yeah.
And it seamlessly told the story while staying within the confines of its timeline, which is currently intact.
I also thought it was nice seeing Robin Wright, who I'm watching at the moment on House of Cards, being a kind of a badass Amazon woman in this. That was nice. She was the sister to the Queen.
Oh, so the one that
the
trained
general,
her.
yeah, the one who trained her. That's nice to see. It's a very different role to what she's doing on House of Cards.
No, really.
Well, in House of Cards, she's got a stoic kind of, I am an actor's actor. And here she's like, I kick people in the face. Hiya!
I am here to audition for Kick Puncher 5.
Kick Puncher 5! Hiya! But she's good. She's good at kick punching in this movie.
She kick punched well.
And only because I've been watching her in House of Cards, I'm like, well, that's a nice attempt at trying to impersonate Gal Gadot. Or Gal Gadot. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Gadot. If anyone wants to message us and correct us. But
Well, let's just put it out there that you think it's Godot. I was sure it was Godot, so one of us is right.
Hashtag Team Brad, hashtag Team.
Yes.
Don't start that up.
Civil War, hashtag.
Oh, it's a civil war. No. We're in DC. It's a V. Oh, it's a V. Oh, no.
Oh, it's a V.
Oh, it's a legal case, apparently.
It's BVA.
Ugh, nah. Nah.
What, AVB? Is that better?
Just none of it.
Do you want to?
Just none of it. Yeah. So the cast is good.
Yeah.
I like the way the story is told. It's very linear.
Yeah. Has some good humor injected in a very natural
Chris
way.
Pine is good. I feel like he's very kerfuffled for most of the movie. Like whenever he's dealing with Diana, it's a lot of like her asking like, "What about this?" And he's just kind of like, Okay, yeah.
And here's what I liked about his character. It would have been very easy for them to have written the movie in a way that it was like, oh, white man saves the day.
Yeah, it could have very easily just been written from his perspective, but the film's very distinctly from her perspective.
Yeah.
We do have a few scenes that are kind of like him telling a story, but it's very much like him telling a story to her.
Yeah.
So it's not from her.
Yeah.
You know, not from his perspective.
Yeah, so
it's her hearing.
They
his
did a good
perspective.
job at not making this movie white man saves the day. Because it
No.
was very much Wonder Woman saves the day every time. Like, yeah, he was there. He helped out.
He's there and he's competent. You know, he's like he does better than like a female character would do in a male superhero movie. Like he gets to have like his own kind of arc and journey.
Which
and he's got his own
way
thing.
is kind of sexist, but let's not get into that.
That's another thing. That's other films' problems.
Yeah, but to say that's another review.
Yeah, but he's pretty good. She does have a couple of cohorts along for the adventure that are they're good, they're fine. They have their own little arcs in their characters, except for one. I guess the chief, the Native American guy, he didn't do a lot. He was there. I didn't hate him. I just
It was just kind of there.
I keep forgetting that he's in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I still didn't like that. Was he Scottish?
He was a Scottish fella, yeah.
And it was like, and his second scene, he was wearing a kilt. Oh, Scottish, he's wearing a kilt. They don't just do that.
That gets into, I'm not sure if it's a problem, but in this film, and I think it needs to be addressed, it's very much cribbing a lot from Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah.
There are a lot of scenes and feel just like kind of general themes that are very kind of across the board, wholesale taken. from
Yeah.
Captain America. Also, the first Thor movie, I feel a lot of it's from there.
Yeah, well, it very much has the same theme as, like, you know, this basically god person comes to the mortal world,
And does
to
a kind
man's
of
world.
fish
and
out of water.
Yeah, and doesn't understand their ways.
Mm.
I mean, the first Thor movie was very in your face about it. Like, what is this? Get me something I can ride.
It was played a lot more for comedy in that film. Like
Yes,
this one,
it was a lot bigger.
there's a subtle comedy to it.
Yeah.
Which is. I'm not saying it's
better.
you know, the wittiest film I've ever seen, but like, it's not played as like I'm a ridiculous thing. But there are a few like scenes that are a little cheesy. It's definitely taking a lot from like Captain America: The First Avenger, where it's taking a lot of that kind of cheesy, hokey feel to it, but still it does address a lot of kind of like real issues that related to World War One. I was worried that it would sanitize World War One a little bit.
Yeah, because as like I was saying this in the car on the way home, World War One was a fucking mess. That's why you don't see many movies about it, because it's hard to do.
It is.
You know, it's easy to do World War Two because like it's easy to see who the good guys were, but there was no good guys in World War One. Everyone was doing fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Everyone was in the war for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
So that's why it was hard to do, and I feel like they treated that with the respect it deserves.
They definitely did like try and make World War like make it look like a world war that was just like a lot of terrible shit going on.
And it was very much like, well, a plot point in the movie basically was that Diana sides with, you know, the English and whatever, thinking, oh, these are the good guys, and it kind of reveals throughout that maybe no one's on the good side of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of her learning about like, oh well, there's this whole kind of situation that I've landed myself, I've pushed myself into, is a lot more complicated than I first realized, which I thought was good. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, it treats the war with respect, and it's very much a big plot point for her character, very big part of her arc.
Yeah,
so
and I think
it ties in well
in terms of where we see Wonder Woman in like Batman v Superman. It does give her a lot more kind of credence as to why, you know, if there's been this like super powerful superhero just like in the world, why don't we know about her? Why hasn't she just been like around saving people the whole time? There's a reason why she's kind of kept to herself and she's like, I can't deal with all of this stuff anymore. So that I liked that. Do we want to get into things we didn't like? Or? Yeah. So we're being pretty positive here.
We're being pretty positive right now. Most positive. We've talked about a DC movie.
I feel the villains, while they were okay, they were very kind of cheesy one
Yeah, they were
note.
very cheesy. The room was like, we're evil.
Like there's even literally a scene where like they do something evil and
Then
then
they laugh.
they have like an evil laugh to each other, like ha 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 ha. Like
we're evil.
that was very kind of like, what is this, like a children's fucking pantomime? That I felt that was a bit cheesy, and that crossed the line of like, okay,
Yeah, it gave me a
cool,
laugh when they
whatever.
did that evil laugh. 'Cause, like they put the gas in the room and they threw in gas mask, and he's like, "Oh, the gas mask won't work." And she's like, "They don't know that."
Yeah. So there's who have we got? We've got Dr. Poison,
Dr. Poison,
who is okay.
fine.
She's fine. And then we have Ares as like the big kind of bad at the end, who we've seen like hints of in the trailer, but she's like who she's going after, and it's not entirely clear who he is.
Yeah, and as I said before, I'm glad that they did Ares, because what greater villain does Wonder Woman have other than Ares and sexism?
Cheetah. that cheetah woman.
Cheetah's a bit too campy to
I
do
feel like
something
they could
this, though.
probably do it if they ever did like a Justice League versus the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I feel like they could,
Kind
but
of
I
thing. They could
don't
do
feel
it
like
there.
Cheetah could hold up as the main villain for a
No,
Wonder Woman movie.
she's- But I don't know a lot about Cheetah. I don't know what her deal is. I don't even know why she is.
Something about
A
she went
cheetah.
searching for the god's magic and found the cheetah's curse. Something
Okay.
like that.
I don't get it. Every time I see that character, I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, well,
Very confused.
that's all I know. She wanted God's power. She got cursed instead and became a half cheetah woman.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Comic books, I guess.
Comic books, yeah.
Mm.
We should rename this podcast Comic Books, I guess.
Comic books, I guess. What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
This movie, it's like, it's good and that like it moves along at a really good pace. Most of the action scenes are pretty good. I will say the action scenes. I quite like them.
I enjoyed that. There was some parts that really didn't look real in the action.
No, there
scenes.
are a few moments that are it does distinguish itself from like something like a Marvel movie where there is a lot of kind of like slow motion moments to kind of like, hey, look at this cool image, and that's like a lot of Zack Snyderisms kind of laid out through there in the film. But I feel like Patty Jenkins deals with it a lot better than Zack Snyder does.
Yeah.
Where like he would like, pornographically kind of like look at all of that. She was using it in a mostly interesting way.
Yeah.
And it did service the story
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah, I still couldn't get past some of the stuff that really looked fake though.
Yeah,
Like
there's
when she jumped off that thing that they all suspended and she just somehow destroyed half of a fucking tower.
Yeah, it is a little unclear through a lot of the movie, like how powerful Wonder Woman is.
Yeah, because at one point you're like, oh, she can just jump far.
Do they even have a Colo Wonder Woman in the movie? I don't think they do.
Do they? No, they don't.
Which I can't see a reason for them to. Like,
oh, you're some sort of Wonder Woman.
I'm actually kind of really glad they never did that. They never did like, what are you, some kind of... They never had Will Smith come out as Deadshot and go like, what are you, some kind of Wonder Woman? Hi, I'm Will Smith. Goodbye. Like, that was good. So I guess that's just her modern name at some point. Like maybe... I hope it's like the Flash who gives her that
Or maybe
name.
better say maybe Bruce Wayne does it because he give code names to them all.
I'm hoping it's Barry Allen. I'm hoping he's like, okay, well,
What is some
you
little-
could, if you're Batman, you've got a code name. I'm the Flash. I've got a code name. Aquaman and Cyborg, Amazing Lady. I don't like that one. What about Wonder Woman?
Fine.
I like it's fine.
It's fine. No, they will eventually, but I'm glad they didn't in this because the only way they could have done it is, what are you, some kind of Wonder Woman?
Yeah, there's no need.
No need for that.
Like
we know she's Wonder Woman.
yeah, we've seen the movie title. We're good.
Yeah, we bought the ticket. Wonder
Also,
Woman.
DC debuted. It's like they've got like their own kind of Marvel Comics thing where like you see a bunch of DC heroes and then it shows the DC logo, which that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice that they're trying.
I mean, it's pretty much the exact same.
It was like it's pretty much the Justice League cartoon kind of do 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 thing. Like you could put that like song. They haven't got a fan theme. You know, like a fanfare thing. Like Marvel have like the Yeah, they have that. DC doesn't have one of those yet.
Maybe they're working on it still.
Maybe it'll come out for Justice League. Maybe
Yeah.
they're saving it for that.
No, I still hold to reason that when they made Batman v Superman and it came out, I still reckon Warner Brothers changed up a lot about how they made these movies, which is why it became progressively better. So I still stand by that. I've been saying this the whole time. I want to put that out there.
So we've got a film that, for the most part, it's got a good lead. The story is cribbed a little bit from other movies, but still manages to have an identity of its own.
At the same time, though, nothing is original anymore. And
Nothing is original
still
anymore.
of everything, so we can let that fly.
Yeah, I think the problems that I have with it are now no longer like the DC problems, where it's like this.
Yeah,
is an
it's
incoherent
regular
mess.
movie problems.
They've kind of got Marvel movie problems, which is a step up.
Yeah.
For them, because like there's a couple of lines of dialogue in the third act. The third act has a lot of moments where it's kind of like I'm a villain moments, and there's a lot of CG as well, which I felt was a little.
The CG looked kind of bad.
Yeah, and I didn't quite buy the Steve Trevor Diana relationship.
No, you knew it was going to happen, but I didn't feel.
Yeah, it was one of those things like it's gonna well, obviously it's gonna happen, but like
why?
I never didn't like completely disbelieve it, but like I never felt like
it was like, when did this happen? Where did this love come from?
I guess like she's the first person. She's like the first man she's met, so she's like, well,
gotta get me some of that pleasures of the flesh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling sex from now on, by the way.
Well, that's why you'll never get it again.
Oh, wait, that was already on the cards.
Yeah.
I'm so lonely.
All right, so I think overall I would give it I don't know, what would we give Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman? 4 or 5 points more than that. That's the score I'm giving it. 4 more points.
I think we gave Suicide Squad like a 5 or a 6, so 4 more points would be a 9 or a 10.
I'm changing it to out of 15. I don't know. All these rules are arbitrary. Just it's better than everything DC's done so far. But it's still like a middle of the road.
So 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. So it's like better than some Marvel movies, but it's not like the best of what they can do yet.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction, and I would probably watch it again or buy it on Blu-ray.
You'd buy it on Blu-ray? I don't
I'd
think
buy
I have a single thing on Blu-ray.
I don't think I'd buy it on Blu-ray, but I'd watch it again if it came up on Netflix. There you go.
You wouldn't do the YouTube rental system on it?
I've never done that before.
I do that all the time. It's so good.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet because I don't know. I can wait.
I don't know. I like the YouTube rental thing because it's like you pay $3, you get to watch a movie.
Like
It's easy because it takes like 5 seconds to do it. You don't have to illegally download. It's
That's
curbing
true.
my illegal downloading more.
That's true.
Which is
That's
always
true.
my goal because
I
I know I shouldn't do it, but I still do it.
I might get in on that. I think I've just been like I haven't seen Doctor Strange again because I've just been waiting it for it to show up on Netflix, and then I'll watch it again there
See, I'm not sure if any of the Marvel movies are on there.
on Netflix
Or
or
on
YouTube.
the YouTube rental thing.
That's weird.
I watched The Amazing Spider-Man there. I've watched a few Paramount films there. Universal are all there. Fox are all there. Sony.
I just assumed it
I'm not
would
sure
be there.
about Disney. I'm not sure if Disney are on this YouTube rental system.
Oh well.
Look it up.
Do you want to get into spoilers?
Yes, let us.
All right. So from here on out, it's spoilers. If you haven't seen the film, go see it. It's worth your time.
It's a good
I think
watch.
if we can say if nothing else, she's a good example for women, for young girls. She's definitely
That's always what Wonder Woman's been about.
yeah, and I think they've definitely achieved that. They've definitely created a strong character, and there's a lot to build off here. And hopefully, Zack Snyder doesn't fuck all that up with Justice League, which I'm very optimistic about, actually.
Yeah, and even
Coming out of this film, I'm much more optimistic about that.
Yeah.
than
I don't
am
know.
before.
It's got now that it's a two-director film because he's out because his daughter very tragically committed suicide.
Oh, have we talked about that?
No, we haven't.
Well, I just want to say that's a horrible thing, and
Yeah.
outside of like everything I think about his output and his work, I would not wish that on anyone. That's
Yeah,
an awful
no, it's
thing
a
to
terrible
happen.
thing to happen. So
Mm.
Joss Whedon, like a boss, stood up and is going to finish off the movie.
Apparently, he was helping out already, which was
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's
so it
why
feels
it was
like he's left it in capable hands. So
yeah, and it's probably gonna still be like what Zack Snyder would have made, because he's
yeah, because I feel like it's probably most of the way through production.
yeah. There's only like a couple of reshoots they wanted to do,
Yeah.
which is what happens with like every major production.
So,
Once you
so
get
it'll be
into
that,
editing,
and it'll be
yeah.
reshoots and editing that Joss
Mm.
Whedon's directing over.
Mm.
Because the director's always there for the editing, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So for the
let's-
most part, they have like the final cut, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into
Let's get into
spoilers.
spoilers.
Now, there was a bit of a twist,
Mm.
because all throughout we thought that Evil McEvilface, I can't remember his name, was Ares. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, all throughout thinking Ludendorff.
Ludendorff, yeah. Evil
Ludendorff.
McEvilface.
Yeah, we're thinking that, oh yeah, this guy, the evil German fella, he must be Ares. But it turns out, no, it's Professor Lupin from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah. The good guy. Who was
It was the werewolf the whole time.
Ooh.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of the arc he has in fucking Prisoner of Azkaban, isn't it? Or
No, he
like you
was a
think
good
like,
guy.
oh, Lupin, he's here to help us. Like, oh wait, no, he was a werewolf the whole time. It's like, whatever his name was.
He was
so
still a good guy.
he was all. Yeah, I guess in that he was still a good guy. But like, yeah, he had like a secret. I'm actually this magical being, and here it's like
Yeah.
I'm secretly Ares. Which
Yeah.
I think
I feel
someone.
like they pulled off the twist well because the whole film I was like, yeah, oh yeah, Ludendorff, he's Ares.
Yeah.
Never suspected it wasn't him.
Mm. And I feel like he had a lot of lines like near the end there where it's like, I will destroy you.
Yeah.
Join me or die. Which is okay.
Yeah, it
was
it's very superhero villain.
it lost me a bit there where it's like, okay, this is wrap it up. Okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna defeat you some reason. She's gonna say it's about like, oh,
It's
love
love
and
and
compassion
whatever.
is the answer, and then she'll use gratuitous violence to defeat you. Which she does.
Smash you in the face with love and passion.
See, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
What are your favorite bits? Favorite scenes?
I liked the scene where she crossed no man's land. She was just like whacking.
That
away
was
the
real
things.
good. I quite liked that.
I
Well,
got,
she
I got
has like,
excited when I knew that was coming because
Mm.
I'd seen parts of it in the trailer. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
yeah, it was like actually like a really good like character moment because it's not just like she's passing through and she's seeing all this like death and destruction and all these people suffering and Steve, he's lived in this world and we have to move past this to go and complete our mission. But she's like, no, I can't stand by and watch all these people suffer. So she gets this like it's a really good kind of superhero like reveal moment, which is like, I'm gonna fucking save all these people, which is great.
Yeah.
I like that. I do have a couple of problems. So if she thinks that Ares is the one like controlling everyone, she kills a lot of people who she thinks are just being like
Yeah.
controlled by Ares.
Yeah, that's very like counterintuitive of her
It
point.
is a little counterintuitive of her. But I don't know. I guess she has to fight someone.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to show
I
that
guess
she's
it
a
gets to
warrior,
a point
yeah.
where it's like kill or be killed.
I guess so. And it doesn't seem like she goes out of her way to kill, except for that one sniper guy. She blew up a fucking
With-
church spire
Yeah, I'm
to
like,
get to him.
I'm like, okay, she bashed through the
Mm.
one bit of the wall with her shield. How did half the fucking building collapse?
And
How? How, I ask you?
so is it because that she is like a daughter of Zeus that she is like way stronger than like other Amazons?
I think so, because the other Amazons were created by Zeus. They weren't his daughter. Because that's a reveal as well, that she wasn't just... She wasn't
Also,
made of clay.
how did you feel that like about her being like, oh, she is the god killer, not the sword?
Yeah, I was fine with it.
I'm fine with that. I'm just wondering why they didn't tell her like that
Yeah,
would have
it
been
se-
useful information.
It seemed just like to have it as a plot point to be revealed to her.
Yeah, I
like-
wasn't entirely clear as to why. Like,
Why they wouldn't tell her that she was Zeus's daughter. Because then she would have known that she had this power that she could harness, which she didn't really
was also
know
very
that.
unclear about what her, like the force field thing she was doing. I was unclear.
When
Like,
she clinged to gauntlets.
but even just like there was that moment where like she's walking towards Ares, and like he's like throwing swords and stuff at her, and they're just like disintegrating. Wasn't quite clear. I was like, is that a power she's had the whole time?
Yeah. See, that's one thing I would say was a bit of a negative about this movie. Her powers weren't very well defined at points.
Yeah.
Like at some points you can jump far, then at some points you can fly. Some points she just needs to cling to gauntlets and things go booms, and then they can absorb lightning.
Yeah, that was a little ill-defined.
Yeah.
But I guess when you're dealing with like a character that's like
She can do a lot.
part god, she could do a lot of things. Yeah.
There's not a lot that's off limits.
No.
But at least, give us some definitions of what her general gist is.
Yeah, that was a little weird. So you didn't like the Scottish character? You didn't?
I didn't care for him.
I was very confused by his haircut. I was wondering if like, is that like a period haircut, or did they just want him to look a bit fucked? Like,
Yeah. Well, they obviously did want him to look a bit fucked because, like, I didn't like his voice, and he was trying.
I feel
to
like
tell
as far
jokes that
as
weren't landing.
I kind of like the idea of them having, like, they've taken that kind of Howling Commandos idea. Well, like, I don't remember a lot of like what the Howling Commandos personalities were because there was so many of them, and they've kind of squashed it down. It's like, well, there's 3 different people, and they managed to give 2 of them personalities, and one was kind of just he's just there. They tried a few things here and there, but he wasn't. It wasn't a negative portrayal of a Native American, which I felt like was good. They did have like that nice moment where he's like, well, I've got nowhere else to go. At least here I'm sorry. At least here I'm free. And she's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, all my people are dead. I was like, well, who killed them? I was like, his people. And points at Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
And that's a nice bit of like conflict where she's learning. It's like, how long have you all been just killing and like fucking over each other? You're all kind of weird and screwed
all
up.
of history. All of history.
All of history. Yeah, that was a nice moment. Also, you complained that like why the Germans speak English.
Yes, the Germans, they were in private by themselves, just Germans, yet they were speaking English to each other. Why?
And I was thinking like, well, maybe they didn't want to give subtitles to anyone, but then they have moments where there are subtitles.
Yeah.
So it seems like, well, if you're willing to put subtitles here, why not just make everyone else speak German? It's very weird. Well, like,
it's very weird why they weren't.
even like she meets like the French lady, and she's speaking German. She speaks like Greek and Italian and
speaks
Chinese.
everything apparently. She speaks everything.
Which was, I thought, was a nice touch of explaining like early on where they're like, how come you can all speak English? Like, oh, we speak 100 languages. It's like, okay, cool, all right, that's solves that.
And it feels like English is just kind of the one they chose to converse with each other with.
Why did
Which
we
wouldn't
pick?
make sense if they were created by the Greek gods, but
Why don't we speak Greek? It's very harsh on the throat. English is, it flows more natural. I
mean,
guess.
it's grammatically fucked, but none of the writing makes sense. What? I before E? Fuck your shit. Anyway.
It's not even really a rule anymore. I don't think they teach that in schools. It's not a rule.
Yeah.
Because there's too many
just
situations
all
where
the
it's not.
fucking grammar stuff. Like, grammar in English doesn't make sense. Like, how words can be spelled and pronounced the same way and mean 2 different things, like bear and bear.
That's English. I don't know. I guess if they've got to speak English, otherwise you can't have a major motion picture released in America.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Amazon speaking English. Okay, I'm very fine with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't fine with the Germans speaking English when they were in private.
That was a little kind of like they should just be speaking German. It was such a weird scene with that.
Because I feel like when it first happened and I mentioned it to you, you were okay with it until it got to points where there were subtitles.
All
you were
of a
like,
sudden,
wait, come on. If you could do subtitles here, you could do it there.
Yeah, so that was a little weird, and I guess they didn't want to get German actors or something.
I don't know.
Who
And
knows?
like the guy who plays Ludendorff, I know I've seen him before. Maybe
he's been in things.
Yeah, I don't
He was
remember
alright.
his name or
He
what else
didn't
he's
get,
been in, but I know.
like a lot of range to do.
Yeah.
He was basically playing Hugo Weaving before he turned into Red Skull for most of the movie.
Yeah. Except he never turned into Red Skull.
No, it
He
turns out
turned out he wasn't Red Skull.
he wasn't the Red Skull. The other guy was.
Yeah. By Red Skull, we mean Ares.
See, it was good, but like it's not great.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like okay.
And I feel like it's a safe bet.
It's
They
a
went
safe bet. It's a very safe
and I'm
film.
feeling like they needed safe at this point.
It feels very much kind of like a phase 1 Marvel movie. It's
Yeah.
very early on. It's Captain America: The First Avenger. Like even down to having a giant plane at the end filled with like world-ending bombs that a person named Steve has to destroy.
Yeah. Kills himself in the
It's-
process. R.I.P. Which is what I went to mention before, that, you know, he can't exactly come back in this universe, so Marvel could still get their grimy little mitts on him.
They could.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Me
I
neither.
like Chris Pine. He was very
Who would he
good
play in a Marvel film though? I'm not sure.
Don't know.
Don't even.
It's getting to the point where most characters that I know are already in the Marvel films. I'm
That's
like,
true.
Oh,
Like-
what else are they gonna do?
That's
They're
true.
gonna have to
I'm
start
running
getting
out of a lot
obscure.
of like. I guess they could do.
See, that's where it's at. Like, what superheroes do I know from
yeah.
Marvel that aren't already in these films?
They've done a lot of them already. Like the only ones that like I can think of are the ones that like Fox have the rights to. That like, well, I guess they could do some other thing that Fox has the rights to. They could get that back, maybe.
Yeah.
Man, they're gonna get.
I
They're
don't
gonna
know.
be getting
I reckon-
obscure.
Do you reckon he could do Namor if they got the rights for that? From
I don't
Universal?
think he should be Namor. He's not the right. Like Namor has a very kind of stern face. Like I kind of see maybe a Luke Evans or maybe an Asian actor playing Namor in my mind.
Okay.
Because if you want to distinguish yourself from I guess he's distinguishable from like an Aquaman. If you do Namor, he has to look distinctly different from Aquaman. You have to make the whole culture kind of distinctly different.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe doing an Asian actor would do that. That would be a good direction to go in.
Yeah, I could get behind that. No, I don't know. I don't know who else. Just Namor is just like, oh, that's someone I know from the comics. Namor.
So I think 7 out of 10 is a good score. But another score is basically 4 more points than BVS, Suicide Squad, and Man of Steel.
Yes, it was that much better than them.
It was that much
It
better.
was 40% better than them.
And as far as like ranking it, it's probably this, Man of Steel.
Suicide Squad. Come on, I think it's easy to say that Suicide Squad was better than Batman v Superman. At least I think so. I mean, it doesn't age well. It's best on its first viewing.
I don't know. I might put BVS above Suicide Squad.
Really?
Because Suicide Squad didn't really make me feel anything. At least BVS made me feel something.
It made you feel anger.
Yeah, but I haven't felt that angry in ages. I still
That's
feel
not
that.
the emotion you should feel from a film.
At least it gave me something. And it gave me Ben Affleck's Batman a lot more. Who was... Yeah, I'd put BVS above Suicide Squad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very big of you.
Suicide Squad is a nothing film. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I tell you, it ages very poorly because the first view, you're like, yeah, it was fine. But then, like, if you watch it again, like I sadly did, it's like, no, this is not fine. None of this is fine.
But I almost feel like I'd watch BVS again because it is a fascinating failure.
I get tempted.
It
shows up on Netflix.
Yeah, it shows up on Netflix, and I keep thinking,
Should I?
maybe I should watch it again.
Yeah.
Because there are good ideas in there, and I do like at least a third of the film. Not all, like 1, 2, or 3, but like collectively, I like about a third of the film.
Yeah.
Like a lot, I'd say. But then the other 2/3, I hate so much. So, yeah, that's
Maybe
how
we
I
need
rank
to
them.
do
And in
that one
terms of
now.
female-led superhero movies, number 1 instantly. I mean, that's not a lot of competition.
Yeah.
It's like number 1, like way, way up, like Mount Everest, and then
The others are like
Atlantis.
Mariana's Trench.
at the bottom of the Marianas Trench is all the other ones.
Yeah.
In a scattered pile, indiscernible from one another. So it's one and then everything else.
Yeah. That's a good comparison of it to other female-led superhero movies.
What about superhero movies so far this year? Because we've gotten some pretty. I think
So we've had Logan, we've had Guardians of the Galaxy 2, we've had this. Is that all?
I think that's it for the movies. Yeah, because we also had Iron Fist and all the superhero shows, but that's
That's
TV. Yeah, it might be third still.
Yeah,
because I think
Logan,
Guardians want to, but it's close. It's close behind.
They've all been good so far.
They're all good.
Yeah, there you go.
It's in good company. I'm not putting putting it third as like, it's so bad. No, it's not Mariana's Trench like the rest of these things. It's like, standing a little bit behind Guardians, going like, hey, and they're like, oh hey, you're all right.
They're all hiking together up the mountain in a
They're
group.
all hiking together up the mountain. They're all hanging out at a party.
Wonder Woman just happens to be just the last one. It's like, okay, guys,
They're all sitting at the same couch, but their Guardians and Wonder Woman are looking at Logan, going like, "Oh, he's a bit better than us, though."
Yeah, look how attractive he is. And even Guardians of the Galaxy, like, I'm a dude, not even sleep with him.
Yeah. So it's kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
All right.
We went very far with that metaphor.
Yeah. Recommendations.
Recommendations. I started watching the new season of The 100 last night.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, it is hard to remember what happens in a show like that. Because I was watching it, like I'd forgotten so much about the last season. Like, I know the general plot point. It's just that, it's not that it's a bad show, it's just that a lot happens.
Yeah.
So when it's been like almost a year since I've seen the show, it's hard to remember the insane amount of stuff that happened in a whole season. So it packs a lot in. So I watched like 3 recap videos of the last season. I'm like, I got to remind myself what happened.
Yeah. I played through Injustice 2, the storyline.
Oh, yeah. I watched you play like 3/4 of it because I'm like, I want to experience this story
I did
again.
the whole story in one night. I liked the way it was presented.
Yeah.
I think some of the characters are kind of assholes in it, and that might be just a problem that DC is having at the moment. I don't know.
Well, that's
like,
kind
I
of
feel
the
like
whole idea of it.
I like the Wonder Woman we got in this movie way more than the Wonder Woman in
the whole idea
Injustice 2.
The Injustice universe is that the Joker drugged Superman.
Yeah,
Superman
I
killed all
get
Metropolis,
the premise and the plot and why people are assholes. I just still feel like, do we need that kind of
it's also kind
cynical
of just
approach to
it's also just kind of a gimmick to get this 2D fighting game where heroes fight heroes.
I get that.
The plot point.
But yeah, I'd much rather see all of these superheroes being nice, and I don't know. I want a nice Superman, because we get this Superman in these Man of Steel and BVS movies. Like, where are we supposed to get a Superman who we can respect and look up
in
to?
The American way.
Yeah. Where's the one we can look up to? And I want that. But I will say I do like the Flash in the game. I do like Green Arrow in the game.
Giddy.
The game mechanics, really fun.
Yes, see, at first you were button mashing, but then eventually you got into the combos and stuff. You realized, it's actually fun to play the game properly.
Yeah, and I have been just
I
playing.
I literally watched Aiden at points playing the game. He had the controller laid out, and he was just bam, 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 like it was a keyboard on a computer.
But I have been putting it on my knee and kind of because I find that's the best way to kind of get the button hitting right. Because if I'm just holding it in my hand, I can't quite get the combos I want to get.
So do you often play games with the controller laid flat? Or
no. This is only just for this. Most of the time I'm holding it how you hold a controller. But for this game, I feel that's kind of the best way for me to get my mind. Because it has that kind of arcade feel to it where
True.
It feels like you should be playing with with an arcade pad. Which, honestly, I would get one to play this game with. Because that would probably be a better experience.
Yeah, true. I had a good time with Injustice. I think I enjoyed the story a little more than you.
Yeah, I felt it got a little repetitive near the end. By the third time you're fighting Bane, I'm like, you should have had more characters.
Yeah,
in
they
this
ran
game.
out of heroes.
They ran out of characters real quick.
Yeah,
I do like what they did with Brainiac. I quite liked Brainiac in the game.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool.
Is that a similar Brainiac to what's in the actual comics? How much do you know about Brainiac?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. He was pretty much that. Yeah.
Okay.
I did like Supergirl in the game though. She was nice.
She was good. She was how Supergirl's meant to be.
Yeah, she was leading the charge for like this hopeful kind of like this is what Superman should have been in the game. Like, I mean, less short, but he had brief glimpses where he could have been like good and doing something great, but he felt, I don't know. I just want a cool Superman. I want a Superman who isn't this kind of dark, broody, kind of edgy 90s thing that they've got going on.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was an off-mic yawn.
Yeah,
Because you're boring.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
You hurt
kidding.
my feelings
I'm
there.
kidding. I'm sleep deprived.
I started watching House of Cards. Real good.
Ooh, the new season's out, isn't it?
Yeah, new season.
I haven't
Real
watched an
good.
episode of this show.
Oh, I don't know if you'd enjoyed it. Maybe. It depends how much you like kind of a Shakespearean political drama.
I've never been that into political dramas.
Yeah, they're not for everyone.
Because, my political drama is real life.
That's true. I was worried a little bit going into this show because, like, you know, you watch this show during, like, the Obama years as kind of like an escape, or like, what if we had just a fucked president? What if the president of America was just crazy? And now that he is, it's a little worrying going on, like, well, maybe this isn't going to be as interesting as it was.
Yeah.
But Kevin Spacey is still like so commanding a screen presence that for like the first episode, I was just like, oh no, this is why I'm watching this show, because Kevin Spacey is amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to see what he does next. So
he's the president in this?
he's the president, Frank Underwood.
And he's fucked.
He's Machiavellian. Is that, yeah. He's very kind of, he's cool. I like him. He's a terrible person, but he's a great character.
So we wouldn't want him as an actual president.
No. He's a murderer and a liar and a cheat, but he's very interesting as like a main character to watch his schemes come to fruition.
What about Kevin Spacey himself? Would he make a good president?
Kevin Spacey himself, yeah. Kevin Spacey's a lovely guy.
Do we know if he's a Democrat or a Republican?
Willing to show that Frank Underwood is a Democratic president. And I think Kevin Spacey, he's very kind of, you know, he's for the arts, you know. He does a lot of theater. He does a lot of teaching.
Because the thing is, you never know who could be a Republican.
Real into his video games, actually. Like, he was in Call of Duty, not Infinite Warfare, one of those modern ones. He was like, he played a character in that, which when that came out was interesting because in House of Cards, for like the first and second season, he's playing a lot of different video games. Because that's like what he does kind of in his off time. He sits and he plays like Call of Duty or God of War, and then he was in a Call of Duty game, and I thought that was funny because it's kind of like Frank Underwood, being in a video game.
So he's a president who plays video games.
Yes,
seems like a cool guy.
He's he's a terrible person. He's awful, but really great main character for a show.
Would he be a cool bro to hang out with if you were just broing about?
No. I wouldn't hang out with him, no.
Okay.
But I'd watch a show about him, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah, but that's kind of the whole idea of bringing up this show.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. I think that's all the recommendations we've got.
Yeah. Other than me starting the new season, The 100, I haven't been up to much.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. What did you think of Wonder Woman? What are you reading, watching, or enjoying at the moment? Let us know. You can find us on Facebook.com/PCMR Podcast. We're also on Twitter at PCMR Podcast. We have an Instagram at PCMR Podcast.
That is true.
We have our own personal Twitter accounts. I am at Aiden's Vlog, AIDANSVLOG.
I'm at MeMan125, spelled how it sounds.
We have a website, PCMRpodcast.net. We have an email address, PCMRpodcast@gmail.com. You can subscribe and listen to us on YouTube and on iTunes.
You can.
That's all the places you can find us. My name's Ben Aiden.
My name still is Brett.
And you're listening to PCMR Podcast. Next week, we'll be talking about something, probably.
Yeah.